Oh, what's up, guys? What's going on? Welcome to Sixers post game live. We are breaking down the top takeaways, player of the game. The Sixers get an L in a very, very frustrating game here. 114 to 109 loss to the Phoenix Suns. Let's break it down. Joining me, I've got my man Sean of Philly Sports Network and the Pick Swap Podcast. What's up, Sean?
Yeah, not too much. I mean, I guess when you think about it, just the loss to the Suns straight up isn't that bad, but just the way it happened and the way that one ended definitely stung.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about here. There's some positives, but there are also negatives, of course. And I've got my man Philly_Madness on Twitter. What's up, Rob?
How we doing, boys? Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Wish you would have been under better circumstances here, but listen, they lost to a Phoenix Sun team that is flat out just better than them. That well coached. They're top to bottom are good. I mean, when you go to the bench and you get the guy that I wanted in that draft so bad, and Cam Johnson comes in off the bench. I mean, they're a tough team. They're a tough team, and they're built to come back. And let me just put it to you this way: if anyone out there to watch tonight does not think the Sixers should make a move, if, say, I don't know, a Matisse Thybulle has to be included, they're not good enough constructed the way they are. They're just flat out not.
The Sixers' personnel issues absolutely shine. Their personnel issues shine. The coaching lineup issues shine tonight. There's a lot to talk about. Diverse Conscious says, damn, Embiid got to slow down. You would have thought that the Phoenix Suns had the day off yesterday, not the Philadelphia 76ers in this one, man. You thought the Sixers would blitz this team off the court. That was not the vibe in this game. Should have dribbled up and set up a three after applying pressure. Quentin says Sixers must eventually create other crunch time offense that doesn't include burning 18 seconds to find Embiid, man. We live with Embiid. We die with Embiid. That's pretty much the Sixers in a nutshell. Moving forward, but where do we start? I mean, I gotta go lineups. Is my take here, man. You look at this Sixers game here. In the first quarter, the Sixers were down 29 to 25. Doc's lineups were incredibly frustrating. It is just absolutely painful to watch Furkan Korkmaz as the ball handler in so many lineups, man. It's mind-numbing. There's zero reason to not stagger Maxey and Embiid, and that truly shined, especially between the end of the third and that fourth quarter, while the Suns were getting on their run there and coming back. You have that Korkmaz, Green, Thybulle, Niang, and Andre Drummond lineup. It's just so painful to watch, man. I don't understand why it takes Doc Rivers to react and watch the game and have that vibe of the game and make a change. The guy just does not make adjustments. Clearly, this team lacks ball handlers. Why do you not stagger Maxey with that second unit? I don't understand, Sean. What's your take on Doc tonight?
Yeah, top 15 coach of all time, though, right?
God damn it.
So they had him all buttered up with that before the game. But I think the lack of ball handlers, which pretty much ties in directly what you're saying, like the point guard Furkan just can't continue to be a thing. The just lack of and just rolling out the lineups without a Tobias, without a Maxey, without an Embiid, there just isn't ever a time, especially against like a Phoenix Suns, that you can have any of those three not on the court. And to roll with the all bench lineups, which, I mean, we're banging the same drum and the same exact thing that we've been saying for Doc's whole tenure here, really. But it's just so frustrating to watch the same mistakes happen. And those little like game management things and winning those minutes, it makes the difference in these type of games. Like those little margins in the minutes when it is like the all bench lineups or the minutes without Booker, those kind of things is what makes the difference in games that are this tight. And tonight we saw it. I mean, the lack of ball handlers is super concerning on this team moving forward. Like, regardless if there's the big Harden trade or not, that has to be addressed that they add another ball handler in addition to this team.
But you look at last playoffs, like the Dwight Howard minutes. Like, It is there right in front of your face, and we still are dealing with the same old Doc Rivers, man. It is so frustrating, man. We have Diverse saying Doc is burnt out, shell shock like an old Vietnam vet. Kevin says, get Korkmaz out of there. That bench lineup is painful, man. What about you, Rob? What's your take on Doc Rivers?
Yeah, look, Sean took the words right out of my mouth. Listen, I don't like the all-bench lineup. I feel like, the one big thing that I hated about Brett Brown, and you guys know I love Brett Brown, but the thing I hated was when he went to the all-bench lineup. Like, it makes no sense, especially it can make sense one time if you have the players to do that with. The Sixers bench is weak. It just is. Right? Like Seth Curry would be a great bench guy, but he's not on the bench because you need him in your starting lineup. So what do they got to do? Sean took the words right out of my mouth. You have to go out, even if you don't get the Big Ben deal. You need an actual backup point guard because I cannot look. It's time for me to say something that I haven't said in a while, but Deibs, I'm going back to it. First off, Korkmaz stinks. He stinks. Like I can't. You can't find it's the same thing with Shake Milton for me. They go on the court and I cringe. I'm not glad that Shake Milton's hurt. You never want to see a guy hurt, but I am glad I don't have to watch him play basketball for the 76ers right now because they both drive me insane on the court. You've got to move pieces like that and get guys in here to play the specific positions on that second unit because I got to tell you, even if you make a big splash, if you don't have the second unit, if you don't have 3 or 4 guys that you could trust to go in and make a play or control the game by just dribbling the ball up the court, you have no chance. So even with Doc Rivers' mistakes of the full bench lineup, it gets magnified by the fact that you don't have the players. Oh, I will say it. I'm done. We can bring back our old
understand.
We could bring back our own Furcon fan from, many, many eons ago, and I'll tell him right to his face, Furcon stinks. I'm done, dude. It's over. I'm not going back on this again. He has fooled me 25 times. I'm not going back. Thanks.
Yeah, he's really struggling. Seth Curry is really struggling. A normal Seth Curry game probably gets you the W in this game, to be honest.
Yeah. See, I think Seth's a shooter, right? And as you get to this point of the season, you got, that weird time. They need the All-Star break. You see these shooters look, his brother just had a really bad streak not too long ago, right? And he's the best shooter in the history of the league. So he needs a break. I'm not as worried about Seth Curry, going forward, but the All-Star break's going to, there's one guy where the All-Star break's going to do him a lot of good.
Yeah. So Seth will get it back. He'll get it back for sure.
This is probably the coldest that I think we've seen Seth during his entire time here, though. These past couple game stretch, when I was looking at the box score for him, and I have it out in the living room, I bet, but it was a bunch of 2 for 7, 1 for 8, a bunch of just poor 3-point shooting attempts, and I believe it was pulling up the Twitter now, but crazy his career low is 40.6 3-point percentage, which is what he's shooting this year. And it's completely different when he's on versus when he's not for the Sixers. He's such a difference maker in their offense, and he's 28.1% over the past 6 games, 9 of 32, and a career low 40.6% for 3. Which tonight was a game where you kind of could feel it not going in. There was a 1-2 man gameplay with Embiid where he had a kind of one of his just bread and butter shots from the baseline mid-range jumper and just clanked right off the rim. And he just didn't have it tonight. I agree. I'm not worried in the long run, but frustrating that it wasn't there.
I got to tell you, Q, you're look, he doesn't give you much on defense, but to act like Curry is not a major part of this team. There's to me, and I know people will tell me I'm nuts about Curry, but I'm going to stick with it. Maxey and Curry are the 2 untouchables outside of Joel Embiid. And
really?
Yeah. And I don't want to, obviously Maxey, we all know why, but for me, Curry provides the spacing you're going to need if you have a 2-man game on the other side with so much attention. Who else on this team right now, outside of those 2, if you were to get them, is going to knock down a shot? The only guy that I trust, even at this point, the only guy I trust is Seth Curry, because I do believe he's a shooter, so he's gonna come out of this. I fully believe that.
Yeah, the Sixers bench really struggled tonight. George Niang hit 8 points in the first half. He was a plus 12. He ended up being a plus 2. So what does that give you? 5, 9, 12-point total? They're out of this bench. The Sixers bench is 27th in the NBA in scoring. Is not good enough. Is absolutely not good enough, which goes to kind of hand in hand with our take on Joel Embiid tonight, as we always do. My issue, again, is Doc frickin' Rivers. You're going against the top team in the NBA. There is zero excuse for this guy to play 26 minutes halfway through the fourth quarter. Zero excuse. What are you doing here? Like, this guy needs to be in the game. Every single time he came into this game, he was absolutely dominant. There was a stretch there in the second quarter where he absolutely took over. His handle, his footwork, nothing short of remarkable. Joel Embiid subbed in with 6 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the second quarter. 9 points, 4 of 5 from the field, 0 turnovers. Yet the guy doesn't come in with what, like 8, 9 minutes remaining. Like, that was kind of the main takeaway of this game. Doc Rivers had zero feel about this game. And like the horrible thing about this game is the Suns couldn't hit a goddamn thing from the perimeter in this second half. Both teams couldn't hit a goddamn thing from the perimeter. So the game was there to be won. There's just these lineup combinations that continue to come up every single game from Doc Rivers. So I'll throw it to you, Rob. What was your take on Joel Embiid tonight?
Listen, I mean, what the guy's doing is incredible, and I'm not making excuses. My only assumption is Doc is just thinking about down the line, right, and thinking about Joel's history. But I agree with you. This is one of those premier games. This is one of those games where your stars have got to play premier minutes, and it's one of the things that's maddening about Doc. You know, it's one of the things that is going to frustrate us, I think, to the end until they do something that they win, and we have to say, okay, his moves worked. We got to let that go. By the way, when we have a chance, I want to get over to some of these comments because Quentin's on the, like he does say, first of all,
yeah, I agree with Quentin.
Yeah,
I agree with this.
I agree that you can't play them as the starting backcourt deep in the playoffs. But as far as playing them, Maxey and Curry are going to have to play. And Maxey and Curry are going to have to play important minutes, not just, a few minutes to spell a guy. They're going to have to play. I mean, it's just that simple. But then he said maybe Curry should lead off the bench. Totally agree with you. But until they make a move, you can't do that because who the hell goes in?
Yeah.
The bench is just bad. It's just it's bad right now. I mean, look, Danny Green has had some nice moments here and there, but Danny Green is just getting old. Guy's a good player, but he's getting old. So right now you're stuck. You got to start him.
This Kevin says, like, Joel. I'm not saying Joel Embiid should have played 40 tonight, but I just don't like the way Doc utilized his lineups tonight. What was your take?
I didn't realize that.
I mean, that dunk, like that. This loss is going to overshadow one of the best dunks of the year from Joel Embiid tonight in the fourth quarter. That was when Joel Embiid is playing mean and, is going at the rim, man, there's nothing more beautiful. Sean, what was your take on Embiid tonight?
Yeah, the turnover at the end hurt. That hurt. Yeah. That took away from, I think.
That was horrible. Oh.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, it's kind of what you come to expect. I totally agree with your frustrations. I think it was 6:57 that he subbed in with the fourth quarter. And this, once again, is like a recurring theme of just, like, waiting too long to get this guy in the game. Like, the final 7-ish minutes is just not enough time for him. Like, he should be on the court for way more than that every single fourth quarter, especially in, like, a primetime matchup with the Suns. And then I did want to touch on the Seth Curry a little bit. I feel a similar way about Seth Curry that I think a lot of people feel about Matisse Thybulle, in the way that, like, pretty much purely one-sided in what they do, and obviously polar opposites on the end. But Curry is pretty much a zero defensively. And come playoff time, like, and I brought this up before, but you take it back to that Hawks series, like, it was Kevin Huerter that was killing us for most of that because he had Seth Curry in one-on-one matchups, and Kevin Huerter caught a bag after that and cashed out. But, like, that just can't be, like, it's enough of a weakness that like I don't feel comfortable enough to rely on it, especially when Maxey is the other point guard. Who Maxey I believe in from a defensive aspect, but just size wise, like you just can't have both of them. And I don't know. It's very frustrating. It's obviously an incomplete team right now, but it's tough.
It's why I think I would love Seth off the bench, because then you could stagger those guys. They're not really out there together for too many minutes. And then I think it's a different story. You can have another defensive guard out there with Curry to kind of make up for the lack in his game and that on that end. I agree with you.
Yeah. Quinn says good teams will find Curry on the defensive end. That's just how it is, man. You're
Right.
only as good as your weakest defender in the playoffs, man.
Yeah, and I guess my only statement to that is, but you still need guys that can shoot. And right now,
They don't
he's your
have-
best option. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
so it's kind of like you got to have give and take with certain guys. And I think the issue for the Sixers is they're giving and take with him offense, defense, but then they're also doing that with Thibault. And right now, both of them are in the starting lineup, and that's a problem.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Let's roll on to Tobias frickin' Harris, who I thought had a terrific game tonight. Here is his shot chart. Tobias Harris, what did he have tonight? Let me go quick. Another efficient night. 30 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, 13 of 18 from the field. Tobias Harris was just awesome inside the paint again. You've really seen him kind of turn the corner inside the paint. 10 of 13 inside the paint in this game. That was kind of the storyline for the Sixers. That was going well for them. They couldn't hit a goddamn thing from the perimeter, but the Sixers did a really good job inside the paint, led by Tobias Harris. You look at Tobias Harris's last 10 games, he is 21.6 points per game, 50% from 3, just 2.4 attempts. That's a thing. But to give him props, man. Give him props. He's done an admirable job in January and is bleeding over into February. I'll throw it to you, Sean. What was your take on Tobias?
Yeah, I thought he was aggressive. I thought he attacked well tonight. I thought it was a very good Tobias game, and these are always the matchups that he tends to like surprise me on. When you think about like a Suns team that's fairly long, fairly athletic, and I always pin those as kind of the ones that's where he's going to struggle. But it always seems to kind of be the opposite, and that he finds a way to use his little maneuvers and get to his spots. And we saw that tonight. I mean, he was outside of Embiid and Harris, like those two combining for 64 points out of the Sixers 109 is pretty crazy. So like you can't ask much more out of those two. And I mean, anytime you're getting 30 points out of Tobias is a great day. The 2 of 4 from 3, the 1 3-pointer late in the game was a very big 3 to at least keep the Sixers somewhat in it. And like he was kind of the secondary starter tonight. Without, I agree if it was a normal Curry game that they probably win, but Harris totally kind of shouldered them to hang in the game at least.
The Embiid and Tobias were 17 of 22 inside the paint in this game. You get an average night shooting from the perimeter from the Sixers, like I'll take that bet. I will always take that bet.
Yeah.
So I love to see Tobias Harris confidently exploiting mismatches, like we saw, going, getting Devin Booker down low, getting Chris Paul down low. Like that's what we need to see. The shots weren't falling. He was out of rhythm on offense. It's starting to click a little bit. Rob, your take.
Yeah, look, I've kind of said this a couple times. The guy that has hurt the most from not having Ben Simmons on the floor is Tobias Harris. And what I mean by that is Tobias is a tailor-made number 3 guy in a trio. And he's not a number 2 guy. And I know people say, well, they paid him like that. Forget about that. We got to stop with the contract. The contract is what it was. It had to happen because they needed, they were not going to lose Butler and Harris in the same offseason. So forget that. When Tobias Harris is going to be your 3rd option, he is that much better of a player. But right now, you're seeing the good Tobias Harris. Let's not also forget, he had COVID. And I know everyone thinks that athletes are invincible, but if you've had it, your fatigue is real. That is real. And that ask somebody to go back out to the basketball court right away afterwards and just get back into things. It's going to take them some time to get their bodies back. And look, I know people want to trade him. They want to move him. I don't. I think Tobias is a really nice piece to have here if you can add another player. since 2-5 is never coming back to play. But I'm very happy with what I've seen from him recently. And listen, he's a leader. I mean, fact is, he's a leader. I know it's Joe's team, but Tobias Harris is a leader in that locker room.
Absolutely. Let's get some comments real quick. Keep them flowing, guys. They're awesome tonight. Thank you.
Gary Harris did not play Seth Curry's role. I'm sorry. Sorry. He's a nice player. He's not Seth Curry. Stop it.
I'm not sure who this is about. Was this about Seth? It can't be Seth. Who's untouchable in a potential Harden trade? Because we weren't talking about Matisse. Because I want to talk about Matisse. We talked about that. Tobias was terrific. Let's go to Diverse says Gary players could play that Seth Curry role. Yeah, let's go into Tyrese Maxey real quick, and then we'll go into Matisse, who had a strong game. But Tyrese Maxey, the shots weren't falling tonight for sure. Look at that, 0 of 6 outside of 15 feet. Solid inside the paint, but just not his game, man. The shots were there. The big-time moments were there for Tyrese Maxey. It just didn't happen. 4 attempts. Keep shooting, kid. What's your take on Tyrese Maxey tonight, Rob?
Well, I think you said it. Look, the kid's still young. He's not going to have a great game every night out. This one did not have the same flair that he's been having, but keep shooting, stay confident, which I don't think is a problem with him. I think he is he nothing really phases him, and he'll come back stronger because of this. Listen, tough game for him tonight. Think about the guards he's matching up with out on the defensive end.
Yeah, true.
There's a lot of length out there compared to him. So it's a tough game, but I think nothing. I don't worry about the kid anymore. I really don't.
Last 10 games, Tyrese Maxey has had at least 4 3-point attempts. 7 of those games. Gotta love that.
Yeah,
shoot it, kid. Shoot it. What about you, Sean?
You mean a point guard that shoots?
Yeah.
What's that?
Love it. I felt like there were a couple jumpers that he settled on too much tonight. Again, in the grand scheme of things, not worried at all. Still, can't be more thrilled about what this kid is going to be. There were a couple contested jumpers that I didn't love out of him tonight, but overall, it's kind of one of those the ebbs and flows of kind of the career arc that we're going to see. So in the long run, no big deal, but not the best Maxey. Still a solid game though.
All right, what about real quick before we get into player of the game? Matisse Thybulle versus Devin Booker was probably the premier matchup here in this game. Rob, what was your quick thoughts on that matchup? And you look at Matisse Thybulle had 8. No, yeah, did he have 8 points? 8 points in this game, and he was 2 of 2 from 3-point range in that first half. Stifled did really well against Devin Booker in that first half. What would you take?
Yeah, he did what Matisse Thybulle does. The only difference was he added 2 threes, but then again, that was it. He didn't score again, and I love his defense, and I love the kid. But we're talking about him having a great game and the Sixers losing, right? Whereas we said if Seth Curry could have had just an average game, the Sixers could have won. So because right now I think that's a debate in Sixers fanland, right? Would you rather trade Thybulle or Curry? And to me, I get it. I understand what people are saying, but this league in 2022, it's the offense is just slightly more. And if you have a guy that is a liability offensively, as we have seen now for the last few years, it really, really, really hurts you in the playoffs. Yeah. But it's not to take away from Thybulle. It's not to say I don't like Thybulle. I don't want that. I love the kid. But I understand that for this team to take the next step, you're going to have to cut ties with a piece. And honestly, maybe tonight helped that because Thybulle looked really good defensively again. Maybe somebody takes him.
My thing with Thybulle is the next contract. That's my fear. The second he gets a little bit more money is the second expectations change. And I don't necessarily know if we should expect more from what we see right now out of Matisse Thybulle. He is a 30 to 32% 3-point shooter, great defensive player, but a guy that can you play him with 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter? I don't know. We have seen him it's not possible.
I was at the game against Memphis, and with 7 minutes left in the game, the fans are pining because they don't understand why Danny Green's in the game over Matisse Thybulle at this one point, and people are like freaking out. Danny Green then went on to hit a huge three that helped that game get to where it got to. That's why, like you said, in the last 5 minutes, yeah, it's great to have defenders, but you need guys that can score in those close games where every possession matters and every bucket matters. I don't know. It's tough for me because I'm defense at heart. I love defenders, but for this team, I just like you said, expectation. He's going to demand a little more money. Expectations are going to be higher, and I don't know if he has much further to go offensively. We just haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's just amazing to see, like, in that first quarter, like, how impactful Thybulle can be. Like, we saw it tonight. Like, when he's hitting from three, when he's playing suffocating defense, the dude looks like a borderline all-star. Like, that's how good he can look when he's just average from three. Just average. But we just see those also just as many or more glimpses where he just gives you nothing offensively. Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
Yeah, I also think it's pretty likely there's going to be a team out there that kind of falls in love with Thybulle and offers him more money than he's really worth, that the Sixers probably aren't going to be able to compete with. And then as far as tonight's game, like 2 for 2 from three, the one little sidestep three, the one right before the half, I thought was awesome. I love seeing that kind of confidence out of him. And also, I love kind of the chippiness he's been showing. He was kind of chirping with both Devin Booker and Chris Paul during this, which I love seeing that. I love seeing the kind of chip on the shoulder, Matisse, not so nice guy. So in my mind, those are signs of growth as well.
Quentin says offer Thybulle to a team-friendly extension. If he doesn't take it, then trade him. He deserves to get paid, man. Thybulle deserves to get paid. I just don't know. We'll see. I mean, the Harden trade changes everything. Yeah. And so we'll see. There's so many pieces to fall with this team. Let's roll into player of the game. Rob, who's your player of the game?
I'm going to give it to Tobias Harris. I mean, look, we give it to Joel Embiid every freaking night if we wanted to. But if we're going for a 6, I'm going to go to Tobias Harris because, once again, very efficient, scored 30 points, shot the ball from behind the arc a little bit, hit a couple of them. This is what I want to see from Tobias Harris, and this is why I hope the Sixers can get one more piece, because I think really that will go such a long way for Tobias Harris and the rest of the offense. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it goes. But like Sean said, regardless, because this might be my last time on the trade deadline, you need to make a move for some bench pieces, even if you don't make the big move. Don't just keep this team presently constructed, because honestly, for me, I'm not going to be really like in the watching them, because I don't see how they could even make anything close to a run in the playoffs.
Nailed it. What about you, Sean?
I'm gonna go Devin Booker for mine. Just kind of the gravity that he brings kind of changed the whole game in my mind, and obviously that came with giving Matisse extended minutes, trying to match up with him there. But Booker still ended with 35 points, 11 of 23 shooting, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Very good game out of Devin Booker. He's a guy that I personally slept on. He's continued to impress me. So the Suns really have a very well-constructed team, and I really do like what they've built as a roster. So Devin Booker is a perfect guy to be the perimeter backcourt along with Chris Paul. So I give it to him. Yeah,
he's so good. So freaking good. My player of the game, I always love to go out of left field here. Player of the game is easily Allen Iverson, man. Living his best life.
With the pop.
Living his best life.
In the house.
AI took a little trip to a medicine cabinet, I think, before he got there.
As he should.
Okay. I was going to say, you do whatever you want, my man.
Absolutely. To be fair, that is the best deal in Philadelphia. That like $3-4 bag of popcorn, that's some good ass shit.
Yeah. Popcorn at those games is so salty, I end up spending $25 on water because I need to drink as I'm eating it. But God damn it, I can't get enough of it.
That is good value pack right there. When you have a really good giant bag of popcorn. Like everything else is like $20. Allen Iverson living his best life, man. Did you guys see that video of him responding to that kid who had the poster of Kobe Bryant?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that? Like,
Dave,
man, did that melt me. I love that. That was awesome, man.
You want to talk about a guy who saw the error in his ways and really grew up. And I know that people don't believe it because he still talks with the accent, but he's real is what he is. So you got to get – but he really grew up and he became so mature. And he – like there's a reason why the two guys in this city prior to Joel Embiid that I love more than anything were Brian Dawkins and Allen Iverson, because they genuinely love the people here. They love the people here. And Iverson is he just loves people in general, man. He's just a good dude that has a bad rap for some things he did when he was younger.
Like, it's been just an absolute joy to watch. Like, because I grew up watching Iverson, like, at my peak, like, in high school, through Georgetown, through the Sixers. Just watching him become an adult, watching Joel Embiid now become an adult. Are you listening, Ben Simmons? I'm talking to you. Like, just become mature and become a man. It's been nothing short of just an amazing feeling. So, looking at you, Ben, it's time for you to step up. But anyway, how would you grade tonight's performance, Sean?
C-. Overall, like, again, if you just look at it, like, a loss to the Suns isn't that awful, but it's always not the loss, it's the way we lose that always frustrates me. Like, the late turnovers, the rotational issues, it's the same kind of message we're beating home every single night, which will continue to frustrate me.
Yeah. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I think I like that. I think C-. Look, you had a double-digit lead in this game.
Yeah.
And you just kind of let them kind of claw their way back. And, I mean, look, they are a better basketball team, no doubt about it. But what helped them claw their way back? Everything we're talking about. Sloppy turnovers, the rotation. I'm telling you, at one point, it didn't lead to a turnover, but they put, like, token pressure on Furkan Korkmaz, and you might have thought he was getting triple teamed with how friggin' erratic he got with the ball in his hand. Like, you just can't do that. You can't do it. If you know that that's your situation, you've got to figure something else out. It ain't Furkan. This isn't his European team that he can do that on. He's not going to do it here. So, yeah, C-, but look, we have these nights in a season. And even in a C- effort, they played the best team in the West.
Fun game.
Closely.
Yeah, it was a fun game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, watching every single second of it. I had a blast. I agree wholeheartedly, guys. Let's wrap up with plugs, man. Sean, you're up, bro.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Sean_Bernard1. You can see that right there. Check out my written work on PhillySportsNetwork.com and check out Pick Swap Podcast on YouTube and at Pick Swap Pod on Twitter. We just dropped an episode talking about all the James Harden stuff and everything else with the Sixers trade deadline stuff looming. So you can check that out on our YouTube channel. And yeah, that's about it.
Oh, I can't wait, man. I can't. It just needs to happen. It needs to happen. I'm tired of it. I'm just so freaking tired of talking about it. Rob.
You can find me at Philly_man. You can find me my man Deibs here, Party on Broad. We're trying to plan an episode, I guess. If we could get it in on Thursday. Maybe it's to celebrate. Maybe we are celebrating with a little everybody just join in the show type of thing. Because I don't know if I think that the big move is going to happen, but I would like to see this team at least better constructed than what they are here tonight.
Yeah.
Come Thursday at 3:00.
That's what it is. Like, if anybody watched this game, like, it's time for freaking Daryl Morey to put his imprint on this team. Put in some pieces on this roster. Get a ball handler, get some perimeter wing defenders. It's time to move on from some of these guys. It truly is. And
what's the buyout market going to look like?
I have no idea. I'm not the person to ask for those kind of things, but something has to change because it ain't working. It ain't working. It's never been about this year, but like, it's time for Morey to kind of say, this is my team, and we're gonna look ahead to next year. I'm going to say that it's never been about this year. It's about next year. So that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see these next 2 days is, Daryl Morey finding some solid pieces to build around Joel Embiid moving forward. So exactly, better construct. That has to happen. And I kind of snuck in my wide receiver rankings before Rob probably even noticed, just because given our history, I don't want him to look at those rankings at all.
I haven't looked at them yet, but I know I'm going to look at them, and I'm going to probably just go reverse order.
Rob, it just kills me all the time about Jalen Reagor. It just kills me. It is a pattern here. But anyway,
it's the one time I think I've ever been right. So obviously I'm going to be an ass about it and just bring it up all the time.
No, it's certainly impacted my wide receiver rankings for the draft. Like I definitely took into account, not just the Justin Jefferson and Jalen Reagor thing, but like the whole package of, not just, picking guys on need, but picking guys on the entire package. So I'm working on my safety rankings now. Again, I've got wide receiver, linebacker, cornerback, edge rusher, quarterback rankings out now, and I'm working on my safety rankings. That'll be out this week. Thank you again. I've got a really positive response from these videos, and I'm just like so blessed and so happy to see that, because it's been nice. It's been really, really cool. So people are enjoying it, and I'm just honored. I haven't done a mock draft in a while, so maybe I'll do a mock draft on Thursday. I've been working like a dog these last couple of days, just because I'm trying to take it Thursday.
I shouldn't actually say what I was going to say. It's probably not meant for on air, but if things happen, I just don't know. I don't know what if it's a violation of my ethics, so I'm not going to say anything, but I'm doing something pretty cool in real estate right now. I can tell you off the air.
Love it. Yeah, I'll be drinking all day Thursday and just refreshing Twitter all day. It's one of my favorite days of the year.
Yeah.
But thank you everyone for watching. God, we're 37 minutes in. Thank you everyone for watching. If you're watching us now, all our comments, thank you. We'll be back for every single post game for the Philadelphia 76ers. Again, tons of NFL draft content going down. And we'll see you next time. Follow my man Rob on Twitter at Philly_Madness. Sean at Sean_Bernard1. Check out the Philly Sports Network and the Pick Swap podcast. For Rob, for Sean, for myself, stay awesome, everybody.